how many of you are from Europe or really know much about what's going on. This hasn't been talked about a lot. But this is crazy. Now, there's a lot of Indonesia and a lot of other places that are, on fire with a lot of protests going on. A lot of those countries have always kind of had issues. I'll be back. This is the last video I'm doing, Perry. I'm just going to do this one last video, then I'll be back to the game. I changed my thing to just chatting. But I wanted to talk about this one too. This is Britain. You want to think about this kind of stuff happening in Britain.
To a head now, it's just undeniable
what is happening in Britain
at this point that the state itself is set against the British people and in favour of foreigners who break into our country.
And I should preface this because I never talked about much of this. I don't have any hardline stances against asylum seekers and immigration stuff. I'm generally not a hyper political guy in that aspect. I think if you come over legally, you come over legally. But it sounds like what's going on. I mean, this should put context into what's happening in America. What's happening in America is nowhere near to the extent of what's happening in these countries.
And not just the ones that break into our country,
it's far,
the ones that, against our
here.
democratic will, has said in their millions that they can come and settle in this country. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for any of this. This was done completely. I mean, every manifesto of every party that's won for the last 50 years has said, yeah, no, we're not going to have immigration. We're going to reduce immigration. We're going to get immigration down to the tens of thousands. We're going to make sure immigration is manageable. It has not happened. And so now the country is just awash with strangers. And this is...
And by the way, a lot of countries have tried that. We're trying to say that too. We're okay with immigration, but within the levels that we want to do.
Why Keir Starmer was like, yeah, well, we are risking turning into an island of strangers. Like, yeah, I know. Because I go out into my local town that just 5 years ago wasn't like this.
Corruption and...
It was a normal English town.
Yeah, it's corruption and oppression. I don't know if he talks about it in this video. But there was a situation where a lady got arrested for calling somebody mean on Facebook. Mean. No, that's literal wording. She called somebody mean and the cops showed up.
And now, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy how just anyone from anywhere is allowed to come and live here, and we have to pay for the privilege. This, of course, has all sparked this latest sort of confrontation has been sparked by the court's decision about the asylum seekers staying in the Epping Hotel, which is, again, just mad, actually. If you just think about it, from
as context, the Epping Hotel that he just mentioned is something that they've been... it is a hotel that is funneling... Or not funneling. The government in Britain is paying the Epping Hotel to house immigrants. I'm just going to say immigrants. They say it's not even legal immigrants. It's just buses of immigrants coming into the Epping Hotel. The hotel owner is the first British billionaire. All of his money came from the taxpayers of Britain. The government is paying him that much money.
A perspective that isn't invested in the conflict. You think, hang on, why would they be doing this? So, of course, the local council in Epping applied for an injunction to get the asylum seekers, 138 of them, removed from the Bell Hotel in Epping because a couple of them had sexually assaulted kids. And the government decided to appeal this on specific grounds. They actually have... the government lawyers say it was relevant public interests in play are not equal and are fundamentally different in nature. Yeah. There's a bunch of very suspect men...
That is such weird language.
Here,
that's definitely legal language,
the
right?
Normal people of Epping who are worried that these men are going to do something to their children. So yeah, you're right, they're not equal. One side shouldn't even be in the country, and the other side is right by default. So weird how the government's like, yeah, no, this is a problem. Because, and this is the thing, they realised that, oh wait, there will be a wave of legal challenges from other councils over the use of hotels in their area.
The Home Office has braced itself for a wave of legal challenge from other councils. Yeah. Yeah, and all these legal challenges are coming from the fact that the government is paying these hotels to do it. Yeah. It's you've got all the people that live in the country, Canada, Europe, America, Britain. You pay your taxes, you give your taxes to the government, and the government gives all this is your taxes from each individual person, and they just give this stack and give it to one person, and they say, here you go. The people that gave us this money, because they're taxed, the people who gave this money don't necessarily agree with it, but here, have this stack of money. Your taxes, you paid another guy to be a billionaire. You basically just created rich people with your money.
If Epping's victory would set a precedent.
And now nobody wants that.
All right. Our intention to bring in loads of foreign men will be made much more difficult if we allow this. And so, okay, what a shock. What a shock. Lord Justice Bean at the High Court said the High Court ruling by Mr. Justice Eyre failed to consider the challenges of relocating the migrants. Well, I'm sorry, how's that our problem? Deport them. They shouldn't be here. The judge's approach ignores the obvious consequence of the closure of one site's capacity means capacity needs to be identified elsewhere in the system. Too bad. Deport them. They shouldn't be here. And yeah, it does look like the rights of the illegal immigrants are being put above the rights of the British people. That's entirely true. That is what it looks like. And it seems to be the actual case of the matter. Like, the actual facts seem to be that that's what they're doing. And again, you've got to remember, these aren't exactly good guys as far as we can tell.
Yeah.
But Lord Bean said that...
You don't know. The problem is that I've never liked the language of they're bad people or they're bad guys. The problem with that is so much hidden under the table that is all undocumented. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if these are good people or bad people. I think there'd be a lot less fireworks if people knew.
This was worrying, because if an outbreak of protest enhances a case, this runs the risk of acting as an impetus for further protests.
But it looks bad when you hide this thing. It's like
some
the
of which
Epstein
may be
files.
disorderly around asylum accommodation.
It made Trump look
encouraging
bad because he hid
Oh
everything.
yeah, I'm sure that telling people, no, you have to have the rapists in your community within walking distance of a school is definitely not going to cause any protest. I mean, that's what's been causing the protests so far, but I'm absolutely certain that you telling everyone to shut up and suck it up is definitely going to stop the protests. And this is genuinely what they're worried about. And unsurprisingly, it's what they're worried about, because I think it's going to continue to happen. In fact, we know it is. It's already happening. But this is just one of those things where you can't help but feel that when they say it's not equal, they're not wrong, but the problem is the locus of their attention, right? So, as you can see, Piers Riley Smith, for Somani Hotels, they own the Bell Hotel, said this risks precedent being set. Well, yeah, but obviously you'd be against it because the government...
This Piers Riley, this is the guy that owns the hotel. The victims get the list out on Epstein files? Let's face it. I mean, I'm at the point where I don't think anything's ever going to happen with it. I think it's buried. I think it's underwater. The victims don't have the list. The victims can out themselves, but that's on them. I'm not going to walk up to any victim of any crime of this nature and be like, you need to tell me your story. That's a little bit private. But it's definitely buried. And I don't care that, what's her name, the person that was helping Epstein, the female that's in prison that had the congressional meeting, I don't really care what she says about it. Yeah, they can out themselves if they want to. Me personally, I would think it'd be worth it in my personal circumstance. If it was me, I would do it. But I will not speak for everybody else. But let's get back to here. So this guy is the owner of the hotel. He is who became filthy freaking rich. And he is saying, "Oh, this is great." Of course he's going to think it's great.
To host migrants in the hotels. So why would we listen to you? Obviously,
Precisely.
You're going to be like, "Oh no, we should definitely have the migrants in our hotel because ka-ching." Like, and again,
ka-ching.
The argument, there's no evidence exactly where they'd go if the judge's decision was not overturned.
Money!
And they overlooked the hardship the migrants would face. I don't care. I'm not overlooking it. I don't care. Personally, I'm in favour of corporal punishment for them breaking into our country. Right? I'm in favour of the state literally arresting them, putting them in stocks, and having them flogged, and then deported back to wherever they've come from for the temerity of breaking into our country and then attacking our children. Right? The idea that I'm in favour of them suffering hardship, like massive amounts of hardship, as punishment for what they have done to us and the people of Epping.
His language is just massive amounts of hardship. I tell you what, we're in America just exporting people. It's going to turn violent in European countries. It already has in some of them. You better pray this doesn't turn into some actual, like, mass fucked up shit.
Right. I am in favour of hardship. So it's really weird argument, frankly.
Because I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, the protests have already happened. There was a woman here who went up to the...
she's got a flag. She's got England's flag.
Epping Forest District Council building, put up a British flag, and she was arrested. Now, of course, they didn't do that with the
Arresting people hanging your country's flag. Pro-Palestine supporters climb a war monument. Okay, whatever. Mother hangs a Union flag at the district council building. Arrested.
Palestine flags on our war monuments and things.
Correct. Immigration problems are happening everywhere, all at the same time. You're completely correct. If you look across the world, every hot flash issue from Australia, Indonesia, Britain, America, it's all flashpoint immigration. Every single one of them. Corrupt government, immigration, usually hand in hand. They're usually going hand in hand. And I hate to say America and Trump put an emphasis on it. But to be fair, there have been countries arguing to fight. The Britain has a problem with this forever. This has been a boiling point for Britain before Trump took office. So I don't even think you can just say it's just Trump. I don't think you can just say it's Trump's America. I think maybe he has brought it to the forefront, and people are like, yeah, sure, let's all talk about this at the same time. But it's not just
like that. So again, it shows you where the locus of concern is, right? Because what does putting up a flag mean? A flag is a symbol. A flag is an embodied representation of something else. When you put up a flag, you are saying this territory is under the jurisdiction of the people and moral system it represents.
Yes,
and so
we
when you
planted
put
a flag on the moon.
Flag, that's being used as an embodiment of foreign people and the
First
moral
one to the
system
moon,
of leftism,
you put a flag on the
moral
moon.
system of extreme radical leftism, to say no, this when you see this flag, it is a representation of the moral jurisdiction of radical left-wing lawyers, radical left-wing politicians, and radical left-wing activists, and the foreign client groups that they represent. When you see the British flag, or more pertinently the flag of St. George,
I want some
that
chicks too.
This is under the moral and legal jurisdiction of the British people, and in the case of England, the English people, and it is their interests, their rights that are being upheld, their claim to the country that is being represented in the flag. That's why they arrested the mother of Epping, and that's why they didn't arrest the Palestinians. The police
probably accurate. The British government is scared of this. They are. They're actually scared of their own people. Because according to their polls, and you can trust polls for what they're worth, the actual British people do not like their parliament. They do not like their current government. They're not a fan of their, what do they call them? The free speech laws that they had that aren't free speech, or the safe speech laws. That's what it was. They're not a fan of their safe speech laws. They're not a fan of this. Is not a fan of this, but this is keeping them in power, and they're trying to make these people go away. They arrested this lady. Why? They're trying to make it go away. These people are getting attacked by these people for hating that flag.
Know which side they are on. They are the police of tolerance and diversity. They are the police of the international multi-culti global order. That's what they are here to defend. And that's why they have such trouble recruiting.
And it's these people who pay the money that pays their officers.
That's why their job conditions are so difficult. They are, in effect, an army of occupation. They are here to protect an imposed globalist order that people never voted for, didn't want, and don't support. And so no wonder it's so difficult for them to keep and maintain recruits. No wonder there's so much resistance and friction between the police and the communities they are supposed to police. I remember this is meant to all be done by consent, but people just don't consent anymore. People just don't want this. Anyway, you might be thinking, well, hang on a second, what are you talking about? What proof do you have that these judges are far left and that this is a liberal international order? Well, quite a lot, actually. And this is...
What's that say? Lord Justice Bean, ex-treasurer of the Society, chair affiliated to... Okay, so I hope he explained this. Society of the Labor Lawyers, isn't that like the British equivalent of the Democrat Party for the most part?
A remarkable article on
I'm not
Sky
sure
News.
on that.
Now, Sky News used to be a part, and I would have always considered Sky News one of the core mouthpieces of the global liberal international order, the leftist international order.
Sky News is pretty okay.
They're doing surprisingly patriotic work, which I didn't see coming. They've published this article, political leanings of the two judges involved in the Epping Migrant Hotel case and who they sided with. Now, you've got Lord Justice Bean, is the ex-treasurer of the Society of Labour Lawyers and used to chair the Fabian
Mr. Bean!
Go and look up the logo of the Fabian Society, sorry, the former logo of the Fabian Society, which of course is affiliated to the Labour Party. I mean, Sadiq Khan was a chair of the Fabian Society. Loads of them are. And then so Stephen Eyre was a Tory parliamentary candidate. So you can see how the judges are falling on this. One judge is a radical left-wing Labour Fabian, and the other is a conservative. So he's concerned about the integrity.
So they're going left and
of
right
the
politics.
Country. And so you can see this is explicitly political. There is a political war going on in the judiciary, and a bunch of leftist judges are making their judgments and their decisions, and so basically we have to hope that the last analysis is done, the last judgment is made by a conservative justice. We just have to hope that that's the case.
By the way, this is what's happening with the Supreme Court. For those of you in America, that's what happens with the Supreme Court. We do the same fucking shit. What happened with the Supreme Court during the Obama mitigation? We had a Supreme Court nomination locked up for 2 years. 2 years we were missing a Supreme Court person. And they were being stonewalled. Stonewalled by the Congress. Then Trump gets office, immediately filled. And he filled 3. Getting the legal system on your side gives you so much power. And generally, I'm not quite in favor of Supreme Court nominations having lifetime appointments. I am in favor of term limits. because there's just no way. If things go, if the pendulum swings too far one way or the other, if it swings too far that way or that way, there is no way to course correct. There's no way to get it back toward some kind of normalcy. You can't do it. That's what term limits are designed for. But like the whole idea of a term limit and a way for democratic nominations to happen is for that the voice of the people to be like, okay, we've gone a little bit too far to the nuts whale, whichever direction. let's try to bring it back to some kind of rule of common sense.
Because otherwise, we get and let's be real. I think the system is just going to essentially sort of not rig it, but be structured in such a way that the highest level of judges is definitely going to be the international lib types, and they're going to rule in favour of the foreigners. And they do it every time. It's not an accident that this happens. This is just the way the system is set up. And this is, again, the purpose of the system is what it does. This is how it operates for a reason. This is the two-tier nature of the system. It is
and they're in their legal right to do this. They're in their legal right to do this, but the problem is that the voice of the people can't get in anywhere else. And it's the same problem with like the Supreme Court here.
Designed to extract wealth, extract power, extract resources, extract anything that it needs, manpower, out of the native population of this country, and then use those resources, use that power, use that money in order to facilitate the plantation of this country with foreign colonies. And it doesn't matter how much you object to that. They will just arrest you. They will just use the system against you, make their rulings against you, regardless of how ridiculous it looks, regardless of the fact that they know that this is going to cause protests, way more protests. It strikes me that
it will be way more protests.
These points would have been more sensible.
It's only going to get worse, people. He's not wrong. It's going to be way more protests and probably way more violence.
But no, now it's being drawn to a close. It's being, pushed to a head on all of this, on this particular issue. It's like, okay, well, I mean, the people of Epping have nowhere else to go. The people of Britain have nowhere else to go. The foreigners you're bringing in absolutely do have somewhere else to go. And at some point, it looks to me like the situation will become so dire and untenable that it'll just be not worth their time to stay here. And then we will be left with our treacherous judges, our treacherous politicians, our treacherous police officers, and they won't even have the foreign constituencies to back them up. Anyway, you've got things like this, which
I would say it's treacherous. Treacherous is a strong word, but I think it's fair with what's going on over there right now.
Obviously, this hotel owner is the crazy one, but it's crazy how this is the situation that we're in, right? As you can see, James here, a boutique hotel owner in Cambridgeshire has rejected a £3 million 7-year contract to house migrants, saying it would harm the village and refused to be part of the arrogant government's asylum.
This is the proof of the other guy, by the way. This is a guy who was offered the same contract as the other place, as the other hotel guy, £3 million. I don't know what that is in real money, but £3 million just to house people inside of a hotel. Even mega hotels don't get that. I mean, that is what a wild amount of money.
If you're ever in Cambridge, go and stay at Willingham House. We have to absolutely support
I see in that picture
people of this country who refuse to be bribed by the state,
8, 9,
and they refuse to take part.
I have designed hotels in the past.
The replacement of the British population.
A hotel.
They refuse to be a part of.
Yeah, I've designed hotels in the past. Looking at that square footage in the houses, like right here, these are your quarters. This is lobbies. So this is a second floor lobby, probably an elevator shaft. That's lobby windows. So there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably 8 more on the other side. Let's say on the high end, maybe 20 to 22 rooms in that hotel. Now I can't see the width of the building. So let's add another 8. So let's say there's like 30 rooms in this hotel. At $3 million. $3 million. $3 million for 30 people. Fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's, God, this is what, and that's $3 million, not like you and I going to a hotel and being like, here's $20, or what's going to be for a hotel room, and it's like $100 for a hotel room in a nice hotel. Even times 30, that is $3,000. This is a multiplier of 1,000. And that's taxpayer money. So is the problem the immigration or the government? Both. The answer is both. But here's the thing about the immigrants. I don't blame the people for wanting to live in a better country. Who here is anyone watching me right now? Is anyone here blaming people for wanting to live in a better country than what they're living in? Where these people are coming from are general shit shows. It's not good places. Their way of living is kind of bad. Their government is bad. Their money they're treated badly. I don't blame them for wanting to go to Europe or America. But the fact is, they don't assimilate well. The ones that assimilate well are perfect. They're fine. If they assimilate well, they're general, they go through the things they need to do, great. It's the ones who just show up without going through any of the processes and don't want to assimilate. Here's what nobody really thinks about. If a bunch of people from a country that has been generally having a lot of problems, and then those people come over here and they want things to be like there, what's going to happen? That same country is going to become part of the problem. If you don't just go make more problems somewhere else.
This system, because this system is
I
going
would
to
want to
age badly. When it comes to the end of all of this, people are going to be like, wow, you were complicit in this.
But yeah, the government one needs fixed.
A lot of noise on this recently, which is absolutely superb. The government in Britain is bribing owners with multi-million pounds for 7-year contracts to house illegals. Their goal is obviously to amplify and extend the illegal migrant
7-year contracts. Fix Haiti. Yeah, fix Haiti. If Haiti was looking good and it was running good, no one would leave Haiti. True. 7-year contracts at $3 million a year. That's football player money.
tidal wave, not reduce it. Anyone saying otherwise is a liar. Thankfully, this good man rejected.
For one hotel.
Completely true. Completely true. This is an incentive to get more illegals into the country because, frankly, they have decided that the native constituency is an unwinnable battlefield at this point. They can't politically compete with the natives, so now they have to start courting foreigners. And remember that they turned one of these hotel owners.
Here it is. He did talk about it. This just happened. I didn't think he was going to talk about it. Graham King. 1 billion, the first billionaire in Britain, right there, Britain's first billionaire, all off of hotel funders from taxpayers.
Into a billionaire doing this. They turned him into a billionaire. Like, so much of your money has been funneled into Graham King's pockets, and that smug, smirking traitor. You got to ask yourself, well, how long is this going to last, Graham? And what happens when the actual bill comes due? Lewis Goodall literally wants the state. It really is.
Yeah, that's to fix the government. You'll need the military. True. Those who have the military power pretty much have the right to do whatever they want. I generally true. But I mean, how do you? It's wild. It's crazy. I mean, nobody should nobody should probably be standing on a soapbox and being like, I'm going to give you the money and you give my money to where I don't want it to be. There's donations. There's ways around that. I go to church. I give money to a church. I donate to the church. I know where my money's kind of going with the church. I'm okay with that. But taxes are supposed to go to the running of your country. You give money to your state and federal governments, or your state governments and your federal governments, or whoever, however it's set up. You give the money to your government with the concept that they're going to fix roads, that they're going to do things to better your existence. Nothing about this is making your existence better as people. It's not. It made what your money went to is making one really rich dude. That's where it went to. I can't imagine any scenario that this is going to turn out well for these countries. They're already burning things down. They're not happy. They're lighting things on fire. They're protesting all over the place. I am not a politician. I'm not a politician because I try to think with too much logic. I try to follow ideas on logical paths. I try to be fair. I try to see things from multiple angles. Most politicians these days don't do that. Now, I might be wrong. And I realize that other people are going to have different takes than mine. I recognize that, and I'm willing to discuss things. I do it all the time. But if the logical output that you're seeing is going to turn into a really, really bad situation, logically, you should be trying to curb this. Use your new power to help. Yeah, shake hands with the military. You know how many I got a lot of military friends. The military is actually pretty diverse too. There's a lot of different output up there. But these other countries are probably 3 standards of deviation away from trying the protest route, saying we don't want these people here, to nighttime militia that are booby trapping the docks and are going to be like, turn the boats back. Cause the thing that the Britain likes, turn the boats back. That's their outcry right now. How many standards of deviation away are they from turn the boats back to sink the boats? No, that's not helping anybody. We don't want that. We don't want that, but they've not seen any other way to do it. I'm going to take a quick pee. That was my only video. I wanted to watch those videos. Now, those are my first time. I've reacted to little things in the past. I have reacted to little things. This is my first, more major, up news kind of reactions. I am open to feedback on what you all thought. I know React content generally has different connotations. Some people like it, some people don't. I want to mix up my stream. For the past couple of years, I've done nothing but video game streaming. You do not, no, you do not want a president like Mike. You do not want a president like Mike. Now, I'm 45. I'm only 45. I'm not old enough to be a president. You do not want a president like Mike. I would be a gamer president. You're not really wrong by that. But I just think the discourse is going to turn very, very ugly. And I don't think anybody should be looking out for that.